Okay, so really good to have you here, Vera. There could be plenty of topics that we are talking that we should talk about, but I thought that we should focus on two main subjects. One is your venture capital fund, Portfolio Ventures, that you founded some 3 years ago with your partner. And the other thing is something that is your other side, really exciting side of your personality, that you're also a social entrepreneur, and you're dealing with several topics that are beyond making money, making profits, making high profits. So in the second part of our conversation, we are going to talk about legacy leadership. But first, let's start with Oktogon Ventures. So if you could briefly introduce your company to us, please.
Yes, thank you, Emese, and thank you for Forbes for the invitation. So actually, Oktogon Ventures was founded in 2019. So we are quite a young venture capital firm. My partner is Gyula Fehér, who was the co-founder of Ustream. And Ustream was a huge M&A story in Hungary, actually the biggest one still. He sold his company to IBM in 2016. So the operational background, the expertise he has, and the ecosystem knowledge and the ecosystem building experience I have somehow linked. And we joined together a few years ago. And the firm is focusing on mainly B2B software as a service companies. We already have certain companies in our portfolio, and we have an opportunity to invest around 10 million euros. It is not an EU or state-funded venture capital firm. We just invest private money, which is quite unique on the Hungarian field. So that also differentiates us from the others. And the portfolio is quite wide. Of course, we always we focus on seed and early stage companies and mainly B2B software as a service, but usually we are looking for, to be honest, a good business potential. And we, at this stage, we always focus on the team and on the co-founders. So when we really see something impressive in the founding team, then we start to at least cooperate.
And your fund is focusing on Central and Eastern Europe, if I'm correct. And who are your investors? Where are they coming from?
Our investors are coming from mainly from Hungary, but we have some international investors. So family offices, how it is very usual when you are not an institutional venture capital firm, then it's usually family offices, and it happened with us as well. So they are among the Hungary top 100 most wealthiest people. Some of them are among your on your Forbes list. So quite well-known, wealthy people from Hungary, and Gyula as well as the managing partner. He's also an investor in our firm. So that was quite a proof for the other investor that he's investing his own money into the firm.
Yes, of course, venture capitalists always expect growth and high growth. But what was interesting to me 3 years ago when you founded this company, that you were talking about not 3 or 4 times growth potential, that you were seeking companies with this 3 or 4 times growth potential, but 100 times growth potential. So is it really realistic now, or was it in a couple of previous?
Yeah, for many years, it was a real potential. I think all those people who are investors on startup field and in this ecosystem, we are all looking for this great potential and great multipliers. But of course, many circumstances in our economy made some changes, and of course, the 100 times is the big wow. We said usually we would be satisfied with 30, 40 times. And now we says after the economic challenges, let's say, nicely or politely, we now say it's if we are satisfied with 10 times growth. So it changes, but of course we wouldn't be satisfied with just a smaller multiplier, because that's not that business. High growth means high growth. I don't think it's needed to explain more. That's the background of a portfolio mindset and the portfolio strategy, that of course we will invest around 15, 20 companies, but at the end the big wow, the big success would be around 2 and 3, and that 2 and 3 should balance the waste on the other side.
Sure. And if you can tell us, which one is your favorite portfolio company?
I cannot tell the favorite one, not to bother the other ones and not to hurt them. Of course, there are some which are closer to me. Sometimes those are companies where there is a female co-founder in the team. That's the truth. So, but for example, the very first ones, so Bitrise and Ricard, they were the very first ones in our portfolio. They are also very close to me. To understand who is Bitrise and Ricard, I can tell that Bitrise is a software as a service company. They deal with continuous integration and delivery for mobile apps. They are over their Series C round, so they are a well-funded company now. And of course, they also have many challenges now when companies started to reduce their costs. But I really hope that their international team and international investment or investor community could really help them to go through these challenges. And for example, Ricard is also a software company. They started with messenger marketing, and now they are earning more from SMS marketing. They help e-commerce companies to grow. So at this stage, always the co-founders and the founding team matter the most. So when you ask about the favorite one, it's more emotional, let's say. But we can get very close to the funding members and the founders, co-founders of the team. So it's always an emotional link as well.
Well, talking about things that are close to your heart, I'm pretty sure, and I know you for a while, that values beyond money or creating value within business society or startups or business communities is something that is really close to your heart. So let's talk about legacy leadership. What is it exactly? What is it that you're practically dealing with in this field?
So actually, legacy leadership is a mindset. So we started our initiative in Hungary. It's called Bridge Budapest, which is dealing with conscious business culture. We launched this initiative almost 10 years ago. And that was a kind of density when we realized that when we are talking about values and long-term thinking, it's all about the leaders for whom it really matters what they leave behind, for the next generations. And when we are talking about values, it's really hard to find the compromise and find the one value among the many. And during our researches and during our experience, we realized that the engagement for the next generations can be a value which can be a kind of common value among the many. So we realize that if there are more and more leaders who use their not just financial but emotional and intellectual potential for the goods of others, then there might be very different business cultures, and there will be many different business decisions at the end, and those business decisions can really influence our life. So we focus on legacy leadership. We really focus on building a community from legacy leaders, for all those leaders for whom it really matters what they leave behind. And it's not just about giving back for the society, but it's also about how you build your company. You understand that nowadays the leaders are not building cathedrals, huge buildings, churches, but they are building conscious and meaningful workplaces. And if leaders understand the difference, and if leaders understand this potential, I'm 100% sure that we will definitely enjoy more our life at the workplaces. And it really matters because we spend huge amount of time from our life at the workplaces. And of course, it started from an environment where business culture and conscious business culture is not an average. It's not the mainstream. So that's why it really matters that now we have a platform and we have a community of conscious business leaders with whom we can create new formats and evidence for the other companies to convince them to conduct their businesses this way. So this is why it really matters for me, because I think that's what creates difference in our life. As it probably that would be my legacy at the end, that I can influence more and more leaders to act not just by that heart that okay, I'm a business player who makes that high growth, but I also take extra efforts on building beautiful workplaces and environments for the goods of others and for the goods of the people, for my employees, for my business partners. And I understand my influence on our environment. And sometimes this is what's missing, this understanding that as a business player, you are not a segregate entity in a society, but you influence everything in that.
And if I'm correct, you actually teach leaders to become legacy leaders. So you have a course on this.
I wouldn't say we try to influence them. We created campaigns and formats. We have many peer learnings when, for example, NGO leaders influence the business people, and it's a mutual program, so they influence each other, because at the end they are all leaders. And as I am in a hat, I am an NGO leader. In another hat, I am a business leader. I don't differentiate this. I am a leader. I am a leader who use the potential from my intellectual, from my emotional, from my financial background, and my values are always the same. There is no business value or no NGO value. My values are a kind of package, or it's a base, a background, which can help me to make the decisions in the everyday life.
Well, thank you very much. I'm afraid our time is basically up. So thanks really for sharing your values with us. And and all the best to you in the future. Thank you very much.